take care many times of our illegal immigrants better than we do our veterans. I think that's terrible. And Mr. Trump has been consistent on building a fortified wall that will stand the test. Now, I don't know if he'll get Mexico to pay for it, maybe a portion of it. That's Trump being Trump. That's the business side of him talking, that he's gonna seal the deal and have them pay for it. I personally am okay with America paying for it, most of it, if that is the case, just as long as it gets built. And of course, he does not want to allow any foreign refugees, for example, from Syria without being vetted. And I totally agree with that. I think that we need to hold President Assad, to the fire so that he will take care of his country, clean up his country, make peace so that his people can live in his country, which is only right. We have enough problems of our own trying to house hundreds of thousands of refugees. And if we have tougher immigration laws, I am all for that. I'm all for that. Let's talk about race relations. Now, we're very hypocritical, because I know in my culture we have the hip hop music, which glorifies three words: the N word, which I'm not going to even say it, even though quote unquote, since I'm black, I have the right to say it, but I'm not going to stoop to that level and say it. And then the H word, the HOE word, that refers to women, and the B word that refers to women, which is also a female dog. But yet we have the audacity to get upset when other races can use this word. And that attitude makes us closed-minded. So when you have someone like Trump, who is not a part of the black culture, but if he says something like my African American friend, that just means he's happy that he has someone he can call his African American friend, because he probably doesn't have that many, maybe a few in the business sector. And he's learning how to interact with African Americans, just as some of us who don't work with white America and we're just in our black circles, we would say the same things. Yeah, my white friend. And think about it. When we're around our circle of friends, we all talk like that. When I'm around my black friends, we'll say, you know that white girl? Yeah. You know that guy? Yeah, he's a white guy. We call them out by race. So Mr. Trump is doing no different when he says my black friend. But we are so closed-minded because of anger and because of our own prejudice. Listen, we are all prejudiced to a certain degree. We all have some prejudices that are inside of us. And we're products of our environment. If you didn't grow up in a very diverse neighborhood, a very diverse school system, then you're going to speak to that effect. And I understand that, and I get that. But I tell you, when Mr. Trump made a statement concerning Chicago, my city I grew up in, about the violence and the poverty, and he said, what in the world do we have to lose? What do we have to lose at this point? In other words, there's nowhere to go butt up. And he is exactly right. And we have to be honest. We see the crime that is going on in Chicago. It's not Mr. Trump who's in office right now. And do you think Miss Clinton is going to do something different than what President Obama has done? If we love President Obama so much and put him in such high regard that voted for him, do we think Hillary can do better than President Obama? I don't think so. I don't think so. We need somebody who's going to be tough, somebody who's going to support the police, and then we need to get infrastructure. Now, if Mr. Trump becomes president, we need to hold him to the fire. And that's one thing that I don't think we did with President Obama enough. As African Americans, we didn't hold him to the fire. And we should have, because he got 90% of the African American vote. That means we have a right to say, Mr. Obama, we want to see this done in our neighborhood. We want better schools. Going back to Chicago, all of the schools that have been closing down and are forcing classes to be disproportionate between teacher and student ratio. These are the things that we should have been holding President Obama to the fire more. Where are more funds for our schools? Why aren't we having more cops on the payroll in our neighborhoods? Why don't we have more minority cops? I live in Sacramento, and we're facing that right now, where we have 6 to 7 out of 10 folks in the city of Sacramento are minorities, but yet only 3 out of 10 cops in those areas are minority. So it's disproportionate. It doesn't add up. So President Obama, bless his heart, he's done his 8 years. He did the best he could, I believe. He's on his way out. I think we need to change course, America. I think we need an outsider. I really do. And we know Donald Trump's got some issues. Now, we know the latest is his issues about the quote-unquote locker room talk, which is just so hypocritical of America to really go on a rampage about this. And it irks me because men do talk about those things. Now, everyone doesn't talk about it in that way. But celebrities do talk like that, how they have privilege. And they think they can walk up to women and say certain things and do certain things that the average guy can't do. That is how a lot of privileged men think, but they won't say it. But it's very easy and simple to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh yes, Donald Trump is just a dirty old man. Well, many of you are too. You just haven't been caught. And I think it was appalling that Billy Bush got fired, and I'm glad that he fought back and got millions of dollars in a settlement, because he shouldn't have been fired for being a young man in the presence of an older Mr. Trump. He wanted to keep his job. Is he going to just tell Mr. Trump to go to hell? Is he going to tell him to F off? No. He wants to keep his job. So I think it's just very, very wrong, very, very inconsiderate that they fire Billy Bush. And I think that network's going to pay for that. They're going to pay for that. What goes around comes around.